Hi, folks. Welcome to my blog insights around boundary principles for farm families. And we all know that good fences make good neighbors, but sometimes there's holes or there's fences that are falling apart in how you create space, time, and clarity of expectations around the relationships that you want to have on your farm or your ranch. So I'd like to just review with you Dr. Henry Cloud's 10 tips for boundaries and what spin I would take on that for farm families. Dr. Henry Cloud's work is very well known. He's a great psychologist. And if you want to get his book on Audible, just Google Boundaries or Necessary Endings, and you can learn more about his work. So the first thing is sowing and reaping. And right now we're in the middle of our harvest. And there is a biblical principle, which I'm sure you've heard, is that you reap what you sow. So you need to make good choices. So if you aren't happy with people who are crossing over into your territory or doing things that you don't like their behavior, then my question is, how are you planting or sowing into their lives with good choices and good behavior? Another one is, what are you responsible to and what are you responsible for? And there's an interesting matrix that crossed my desk one time that used the letters R for responsible, C for consulted, and I for being informed. So what are you responsible for? I'm responsible for Meal to the Field support. I consult with my daughter-in-law because we take turns, and I inform the crew as to their location and what their expectations are for me for timelines. Do I need to feed 5 men tonight, or is harvest going to be still delayed by rain? Another boundary is your power to choose, which I mentioned before. And I quite often have said, it's your farm, it's your family, it's your choice. We all wake up in the morning with choices to make about how we want to deal with the challenges or the bull in the middle of the room, maybe the tensions that are building on your farm or ranch that you would like to deal with, but other people are not willing to grab the bull by the horns and take responsibilities for their choices. But you can only fix you, you can only change you. And somewhere in my collection here, I have my famous 5/16 wrench, where I say Elaine Froese can only fix Elaine Froese. So what's your motivation? I hope it's respect for others, but also respect for yourself. And there are things as you age in place on your farm that you're going to have to let go of. This summer, I've let go of a large garden. I've had 1 cherry tomato plant, 1 regular tomato plant, and 25 gladiolus, of which you can see behind me here. I'm still enjoying the fruit of my labor because I planted and got to sow my favorite flower. So what is your motivation? Are you cheerfully driven to do and go and get things done? Or are you starting to feel it's more like a slug? And so Dr. Michael Csikszentmihalyi, who wrote the famous book called Finding Flow, said flow is when you lose all track of time. So if you have boundaries around your work, like I do, I block off time on my calendar to accomplish certain tasks. And in farming, you may start your day with a great plan of what you'd like to accomplish, and then the cows get out and everything changes, right? So let's figure out what your motivation is and what your motivation is for setting boundaries for other people so that you're clear about what you need to accomplish and by when. The other one is evaluation of other people's pain or your pain. And this is the whole basic concept of conflict, which is intent, action, effect. And intent and effect are in me. You don't know what effect or what pain you've caused me unless I feed it back to you. And pain can be caused through your actions or through your words. So check out or check in. And I do this with my daughter-in-law. Are we okay? Is there something you'd like me to do differently? Or I ask my husband, how are you doing? And what needs to shift? And you come from a spirit of curiosity to do an evaluation of whether or not the tension that you're sensing may be something that you are responsible for. Another thing is, in 4-H, we always say learn to do by doing, and we're proactive when we get things done. But proactive encouragement means that you're putting deposits into your family's emotional bank account in this busy season of harvest or silage making or dairying or ranching or wherever you find yourself in agribusiness today. So my question is, what are you doing to increase the emotional deposits in the emotional bank account of your team and your family and your workplace. The other thing that happens at this time of year too is you start looking across the fence. Woo, new machinery. Wonder how much that cost. Wonder how much that's yielding. And of course, if any of you have any time at all on social media, you will find that comparison can very quickly become a joy stealer. So one of the boundaries or one of the tips for keeping your fences well mended is not to deal with envy and know that comparison is a joy stealer. Another one is the whole thing about, wow, how can those other people accomplish so much? Well, it's kind of a law of physics that momentum begets more momentum. And in Chinese, they say the journey of 1,000 steps begins with the first step. So if you want to start working on actually building a better fence, many of you have to get your tools together, and then you have to jump on the gator or the horse or whatever, and you actually have to go and fix the fence and build it and set aside time to do the repair. So you need to actually get moving, and motion begets motion. And then the last tip that I've taken from Dr. Cloud's work around boundaries is to make sure that your values are aligned. Make sure that if you value challenge and independence, that's the way that you're working. If you value teamwork, work on building better teams. And in our farm, we value a lot of different things. One of the two top ones would be honesty and integrity. So you'll never hear me say, I'm not going to lie to you, because we don't lie. We are honest people, and we expect honesty from everybody who works with us and everybody who does business with us. So when your values are exposed, let them be clear. And if there's a values disconnect and there's boundaries that are being broken, it's likely because you value safety and you're not happy that someone's going to rip snorting through your yard at a high speed when there are small children playing around. And so you want to ask for what you need and be clear about what you expect. I hope these tips have been helpful. Check out Dr. Henry Cloud's work on Audible if you want to listen while you work, and we'll see you next time. I'm Elaine Fraze, Farm Family Coach, here to serve and help you find harmony through understanding. Bye for now.